Welcome to MelanatedMagikTV, and I'm your host, Jessica X. And today we will be talking about giants in America, giants in general. So, let's do all the formalities. So, giants. So, for as long as I have known, giants have been a myth, right? I've always heard about giants, from giants being in the Bible to giants being in other myths and lores. Even now, we still have giants walking amongst us. The only thing is, they're in the NBA and NFL, mostly the NBA and the WNBA. Giants are still around. We have people who are 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", 7', 7'4", 7'7". We have people who are giants today walking around. So to say that giants is nothing but a myth or a lore is to basically just spit in our face. Let's be honest. Giants have always been around. Even if you start looking at some of these land masks look like giants that are deceased. But yes, let's talk about one of the first case of giants in the Americas. So, the first reported in 4th May 1912 issue of the New York Times, the 18 skeletons found by Patterson brothers on Lake Lawn Farm in southwest Wisconsin exhibited several strange and freakish features. Their height ranged from 7'6" to 10 feet tall. And their skulls. They tend to have double rows of teeth, 6 fingers, 6 toes, and like humans came in different races. Their teeth in the front of the jaw are regular molars. The heads usually found are elongated, believed due to a normal lifespan. Over 200 giant digits have been found in recent years. Giant skeleton finds have not made the local news or national since the 1950s, and we know why. In America, right? We have something called propaganda, and we have something called mainstream, and our news organizations are owned by a few companies, and I'm about willing to say they're owned by 2 companies, if not 2, 1. But yeah, since the 50s, a lot of stuff, we have a narrative that we must abide by here in America. And if you stray from it, they're going to call it pseudoscience. They're going to call it fake news. They're not going to let it fly. So when it comes to what I'm talking about now, which me personally, I believe giants are just different tribes, like you have what some people will call different races, different tribes. Some would say some of these giants came from different planets. I believe, it's a little of both. They may have came from different planets. Some may have just came from different lands, depending on what you believe. If you believe in the flat plane, then you can say they may have came from different lands somewhere. But needless to say, like I said before, we have giants walking amongst us today here in the Americas, and we have whole tribes of people on the continent of Africa who, are giants, needless to say. But let me continue. So over 200 giant ditches have been found in recent years. Giant skeletons finds have not been made public since the 1950s. In 2002, National Geographic's reported a dozen cyclops, the thing with one eye, skeletons found in Greece. And that makes sense. If you look at some of these old maps, they have different things on the map. And I'm going to be real with you, that back then they was only drawing what they saw. Needless to say, if you start looking at some of the fish that are on some of these old maps and you start Googling them, they are finding these fish today. So with that being said, they was only drawing stuff that they saw. So here we have an article that came out of Madison, Wisconsin. It's a strange skeleton found. Indications that tribe Haithortu unknown once lived in Wisconsin. The discovery of several skeletons of human beings while excavating a mound, an Indian mound, at Lake DeLavan, indicates that the heretofore unknown race of man once inhabited southern Wisconsin. Information of the discovery was brought to the Madison today by Maurice, who came here to attend a meeting of the Republican State Central Committee. Investigates that the discovery within a few days upon opening a large Indian mound at Lakeland Farm. 18 skeletons were discovered by the Phillip brothers. The heads, presumed those of men, are much larger than the heads of any race which inhabits America today. From directly over the eye sockets, the heads slump straight back, and the nasal bones protrude far above. Let me reread that. The head slumps straight back, and the nasal bones protrude far above the cheekbones. The jawbones are long and pointed, bearing a minute resemblance to the head of a monkey. They were being quite racist. The teeth in the front of the jaw are regular molars. They were also found in the mounds, the skeletons. They were also found in the mounds, Indian mounds of the skeletons, presumably of women, which had smaller heads, but were similar in features and characteristics. The skeletons were embedded in charcoal and covered all over with layers of baked clay to shed water from them. But yeah, this article is from Madison, Wisconsin, right? So they're talking about, and this was published in May 4th, 1912. So let me. So here's another one. On December 20th, 1897, the Times followed up with a report on 3 large burial mounds, Indian mounds, that had been discovered in Maple Creek, Wisconsin. One had recently been opened. In it was found a skeleton of a man of gigantic size. The bones measured from head to foot over 9 feet and were in fair state of preservation. The skulls was as large as a half bristle measure. I don't know what that means. Some finely tempered rods of copper and other relics were laying near the bones. So listen to this. The celebrated mounds, Indian mounds of Ohio and Indiana, can bear no comparison, either in size, design, or skill displayed in their construction, with the gigantic and mysterious monuments of earth erected, we know not by whom. We already know by the original inhabitants of the land. If it's found here in America, of course it's by the American Aborigine or the ancient ones of America, which are who descendants are still here today, but y'all call them something else. For what purpose? We can only say, okay. But listen, let's go on to this. So as we know, the Smithsonian, what they love to do, they like to cover up stuff. They cover up stuff. That's their whole thing. They love to cover up. If you watch, let me drink some water really quick. When I was younger, I used to love to watch Indiana Jones movies, right? So basically, the Smithsonian is something like that. I don't know if y'all remember, at the end, Indiana took, the artifacts that he find to this place, and it's locked up forever. Basically, Smithsonian does the same thing. That's their job.